Hey guys, how you doing? Joey Battista here. Listen, today we're going to talk about this is a topic that comes up all the time in business. How do I actually get great people into my organization? How do we find the people? Well, it starts in our messaging. So listen, before we dive into this today, if you find value in it, please subscribe, like, or share, right? Help a fellow entrepreneur out. And please, if you find value in the channel, help support it. Anyways, let's go ahead and move right on. So here's the thing, you're going to find them in your messaging, right? What does that candidate look like? Have you clearly defined what that candidate looked like? See, most people haven't. That's the challenge. Most people don't know what the ideal candidate looks like. That's the challenge, right? That's the problem. The solution is to clearly define and work with your team. What values matter to us? Are you a values-driven organization? Do you utilize your core values in your organization? Are there certain skills that are there? Are you going to make sure that messaging speaks to the skills that are required? You need to communicate that with your team so everybody is working. And that team could be you and your wife. That could be you and your team of 200, right? But the thing is, you need to know exactly what that looks like for you, right? And you need to make sure that it's in your messaging, whether you're in Indeed, whether it's in ZipRecruiter, whether you've hired headhunters, whether you've collaborated in mastermind groups with your peers. What does that candidate look like for you? So you got to get really clear on what the candidate looks like, and then you have to make sure that you're communicating that every time you talk about candidates. One of my favorite things to always ask people is, they're like, well, how do you find them, right? You look for them, right? And how do you look for them? Here, once again, the challenge is not being able to find them. The solution is what? You got to interview, right? Do you think great people come to you with no messaging and through osmosis? No. You have to clearly define exactly what it is that you want, and then you actually have to hunt, right? Are you going through wanting great people and you just got a line in the water, you're like, one of them rolls by, we'll catch them? Are you actually hunting? The greatest asset to an organization that you can bring in is a great person, right? It'll relieve more pain and suffering than anything else. However, as any experienced entrepreneur knows, this is one of the greatest areas of neglect, right? But what the pros know, this is the highest value activity. And what are the things are? Listen, we're coaching for the 1% here. This is a proven technique that has helped me break through walls and get the levels I never could have gotten to if I didn't learn how. So let's recap a little bit this before we go on to the next piece. Okay, clarify what the candidate looks for, and then actually go hunting, right? Do you have ads up? How many people did you interview this week? How many people did you interview this month? If it's just you and your wife or whatever, you, wife, and 2 employees, like, are you guys having the conversation like, you know what, in order for us to hit our goals to grow, we need to be able to interview 4 people a week. If we interview 4 people a week, we won't have to take leftovers because we didn't do our part. See, most of the time people have not done the part in their organization, which is the interview. And so first you get the messaging right, then you do the heavy lifting and you say, you know what, I'm going to commit and interviewing and talking to as many people that I have to until I find that perfect person. But I can tell you, you can do all of that, and then here's where it really fumbles, because it's not just about getting this perfect person. When you get this perfect person, you have to realize something. They bring with them the ideology and the beliefs of their previous organization. They bring the culture with them, and they also bring the standards with them, right? Because that's what they know. So it's vitally important that you as a leader recognize this and realize that if they're going to be successful within your organization, you're going to have to bring them into your culture correctly, right? And what does that look like? So here it is, Joey comes in and I'm interviewing. So here's the challenge, bringing them into your culture correctly, meaning getting them to come and to adhere to your standards, right? Not the standards of the previous organization, but yet the standards in line with the vision that you have for your company, right? So how do you do that? It's very simple. You sit down with me and you're like, hey, Joey, how you doing? Listen, everything's great. We really want to go ahead. We want to have you here in the organization. But listen, there's something that we've learned about best practices, and we basically realized, back to that candidate again. What have candidates looked like that were successful within your company? What have the unsuccessful ones look like, right? Duplicate success, cancel failure. Duplicate success, cancel failure, right? So this is what usually happens. We go through all this work, we bring them in there, And we're so hungry and so thirsty to get this candidate that we overpromise and then we underdeliver once they get there. See, that's the big thing that I've learned. Every single candidate that comes in to interview with me or to come work with me, I hit them the hardest up front, right? And most of the time it only gets easier from there, but there's still a period where I continue to reinforce my values, the company values, and the standards. But here's the thing. So Joey comes in and Joey says, hey, Bob, how are we going to go ahead? This is what I want to do. You know, I did it this way before and I had success this way. And this is what I always did and it always worked. And I had a team of this size and I sold this much and I produced this much. And these are all the things. And you're like, well, here you go. This is the scenario. This is what the standard is. So here is the answer. So pay close attention. It's 2 to 3 quarters of improved results under your playbook. Yes, that's right. So if I want to come into your culture and I come in and I don't do what you want me to do, isn't it a realistic thing that I have to communicate that up front and say, listen, I'm going to give you the opportunity to do what you want to do, but you're going to have to come in and you're going to have to study our culture. You're going to have to study our processes. You're going to have to study our systems, and you're going to actually have to go out and to perform under those. See, this is a vital disconnect because this is the heavy lifting. You want to build a great company, right? You want to build extraordinary results. You want to optimize your business, don't you? Right? See, everybody says they want to do these things. They say they want to do these things, rather. But here's the thing. What happens is when it comes time to doing the work that makes a difference, they're all of a sudden looking at a new software. And that's another topic for another day. But remember, people are the most important ingredient in the business. We get the software to serve them. We get the AI to serve them, to help them do better jobs. People are the key ingredient in the business to their own success and sometimes to their own demise. But what we can do as leaders, whether you're a CEO, entrepreneur, or business leader, okay, or your department head, you need to be able to make sure that it's crystal clear in the onboarding process when you're bringing them. You say, hey, listen, as long as you do what we ask and you continue to be successful under our playbook, then we come to bingo. Results equal freedom. So here's the pitch. Here's the thing. Hey, listen, guys, listen. You come in, you operate under my playbook, and you get growth and you deliver profitability for 2 to 3 quarters, for 2 to 3 consistent quarters, then I will give you the freedom to be entrepreneurial, right? Because remember something, why would somebody come in and rise your business to a level it's never seen when the previous work that's been done by the previous team, they never took interest in? What does that do? You're like, oh my God, I don't have a culture. I don't have good people. Well, you as the leader have to hold the standard. And you as the leader have to make sure that when you go in there and you're working with the people, remember, you're on stage every day. You're on judgment every day. You worked hard for these people. They've worked hard for you. You've been through a lot. You're great relationships in the company. They've had challenges. You've banged heads. You've had some battle wounds. You've coached, you've developed, you've poured money into them. But you can throw all that away when you allow a new performer to come into the organization and you don't hold them to your standard. Now, here's the thing. Boom. Here's the bonus round. If you do all this right, if you come in and you find them and you have messaging that speaks to them, you bring them into your culture correctly and you tell them, hey, it's 2 to 3 consecutive quarters, and then they give you the results, then you give them freedom. What happens at that point in time, you've reinforced your culture. If you're a values-driven culture in your business, you've reinforced your culture. The entire team has seen you, and you've developed as a leader. The whole entire team has seen you operate at a higher level as a leader because you've held the standard versus going in and having these meetings or having these conversations and talking to everybody about what you want to do and where you want to go, and then you actually do something different. Remember, as a leader, you're up for judgment every day. And you can make 99 right decisions, and 1 wrong decision will stop you from getting where you need to go. In terms of leadership, right? It can be a total epic failure. But as long as you're living within your values, And as long as you're living with the same standards that you held for everybody, remember, there is no played favorites. There's only one thing in an organization that matters. Those are the people that live the values and ultimately deliver results while making a positive impact on the culture, right? If they can't do that, they're no good. So either which way, I hope this was value for you today. And listen, I want to go ahead and I want you guys to like, subscribe, or share this with somebody you know if you found this helpful. Either which way, I look forward to working with you again. I really enjoyed sharing with you today, and I'll see you next time. Have a good day.